And then Julie, one of our coaches, we're going to be talking about routine and structure in this time at the moment. It's something that we've found come up a lot with the ladies on our program and with ourselves, actually. So I'll just wait for Julie to come on. Julie is on there. She's just come in. So she'll ask to join in a second. And then she'll come on screen. Brilliant. That was easy enough by the looks of it. Just wait for Julie to come on.
Hi,
there we are. Look at that.
Look at that technology working.
Easy as that. So I was just saying, this is basically a podcast recording, but we thought we'd do it live because then it's just easier. It's done, and it actually saves automatically, and it's easier to do it like that. So I was just saying, Julie, about obviously at the moment we're finding, not just with ourselves but also with others as well, like some of the ladies on our program, about structure and routine being quite a big thing. Like, a lot of things have changed, obviously. So you've got like family coming back together, which is great, actually. Like, in a lot of ways, a lot of people have said, like, there's been two camps, actually, and I want to speak about kind of different scenarios and how they merge together in terms of not just the way we beat ourselves up in some instances, but another way of looking at it, because there's a positive way of looking at it and a negative. So I've had some conversations with some of the ladies saying, I'm not taking this too seriously at the moment, in terms of, not the situation, in terms of like being so rigid with stuff, because I'm loving spending time with my family again. Yeah, we've had some late nights. I haven't been able to join your live workouts, but I've done the replays where possible. Haven't done as many as I'd like to, but I'm just enjoying the moment, because I know it will be back to fast pace and getting the dinners done for everyone else in no time. And then I'll be back to where I was, and I won't be able to kind of enjoy that moment with my family anymore. Then you've got the other camp where that's like, I can't get into a routine. I can't get structure. I'm really struggling. And it's almost like beating themselves up. So I kind of want to go into two ways, because I know you mentioned for like the first week or so that you struggled with that as well, right?
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. Hi, Alison. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's easy to have eased your way into this. I think from my perspective, I was used to working from home and just thought, oh, actually, this isn't going to make much of an impact on my life. I'll just carry on doing the same sort of habits, just carry on my days as normal. And it was actually really surprising, and I think a number of the ladies have found this, that it's actually really surprising how it has impacted the day. It's easy to fall into that space of, oh, I don't need to get up and train, or I don't need to get kids school, so I'll get up a bit later, and then that snowballs into, I'm getting up later, so I stay up later. And I know for me personally, because I was working from home, and I think this is where it surprised me, I ended up working later as well. So I was working later, going to bed later, getting up late in the morning. And I remember, I think it was the Monday morning of the second week, I got up, was in a terrible rush. I had loads to do. I'd spent a week of firefighting, no planning, no scheduling.
Yeah.
And I workouts had gone out the window. Everything had gone a bit out the window. And I woke up like really stressed, really overwhelmed, and went, why? What am I doing here?
Yeah.
And I think it was easy in that first week to go, this is really nice, very casual, no time clocks to be tied to. And actually, you do need that scheduling, you do need that prioritising, because I do think your habits do slip if you're not careful.
Yeah, so in my first week, I'll be honest, I obviously panicked a bit, and I was a bit like, right, what do we do now? This is like, we've gone from having sessions all the time to having to, it was quite easy actually, and probably the smoothest thing and easiest thing to do really, compared to other businesses and whatnot. But moving everything online was quite smooth. Keeping the template the same, like timetable the same, minutes got smooth, but my structure just went out for some reason. Even though I could get up later, my morning routine went out a bit, so I wasn't doing like morning questions that I'd normally do. My meditation kind of went. And although and this is what I want to talk about here. Initially, this gave me a little bit of a kind of feel good moment. So I almost felt like relief because I didn't have to do it. And this is something that I wanted to ask yourself to do. So if you're like, yeah, I'm struggling to get routine and structure, consider the benefits of not having routine and structure, because there are some, otherwise you wouldn't not kind of have some routine.
Yeah.
The benefits are that you don't have to spend time actually planning your day. However, when you look at the drawbacks, so for me, the drawbacks right now that I end up kind of just doing stuff, there's that saying about you're as busy as an, I can't remember how it goes now. As busy as an ant, but what you know the one I'm on about?
I think so, yeah. You're like a busy ant, but actually achieving.
Yeah.
We've probably got
Something like that. It will come to me. So it's a bit like that. And by the end of it, then when I look at the drawbacks of not planning, then it's like, well, I actually work longer, spend less time with family, get less done, and I'm actually producing less. Like, so there's stuff like the meal plans and app, nutrition system, workouts, like making the workouts as best as possible and all that stuff. I wasn't doing as much stuff because I was just like not prioritizing what was really important. And then I just end up doing other things, but feel like I'm working. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think for me, it was interesting because the weekends stayed the same. My weekend, the structure, the schedule just stayed the same. Didn't change just because we went lockdown. It was my Monday to Friday that went completely skewy. And I think that was where the program going online, but sticking to the same schedule for all the fitness sessions has really helped the group.
Yeah.
Because all the ladies were used to, say, turning up at 6:15 for a face-to-face session, and we had the online sessions at the same times. So that's, I think, it's really helped people to embed that structure back into people's way of working. And certainly with some of the ladies I've spoken to this week, they're recognizing that actually getting that schedule, getting that routine is actually really important.
Yeah. And I think like one of the things I want to talk about now, main thing actually, is with family coming back, obviously different foods are in the house, different meals, people have different needs. So sometimes like you don't want to have to cook twice and stuff like that. And that's a big question that comes up. So having to cook twice because someone's a vegetarian or someone just eats rubbish or whatever that they do, or I have to eat they only eat like bulky foods like pasta, and I don't really want to be eating that. I can't do what I normally do. And it goes back a bit to, you know, a bit what the other lady said about enjoying the time now, because this is what essentially I do. I pretty much, although I do a lot of cooking at home, I pretty much don't have the say in what we have. Like, it's a joint say, so it's like, oh, should we have that? What should we have it with? Da da da. So I just go with the flow with that and make sure that, because I have my own way of doing it, and everyone kind of has their own way, but if you can control your other meals, your snacking, etc., you can have the flexibility to enjoy that sit-down meal with your family. And actually, the psychosocial benefits of sitting down with your family and just having a meal together rather than eating separately will probably outweigh any benefit that you think you're getting from having like no carbs or whatever. And you can always adapt the same meal. Like if you do want to lower your calories of a meal, you could always just have fewer potatoes or whatever, portion size, extra veg, change the look of your plate, like the pizza with the hole in the middle of the salad, whatever you want to do. Like we've got mushrooms coming actually today from our neighbours who ordered a veg box but don't like mushrooms. You know the exotic mushrooms that they're like almost like noodles?
Yeah.
I'm just going to chuck them with a stir fry, and they bulk out the meal to make it look like huge, but it's just an easy way to bulk it out. But my point here, let's say you're going for a chili, because these are the type of meals we've had this week. We've had spag bowl, we've had roast dinners, like we've had stews, like really like family favorites, if you like really traditional meals. And a lot of people feel like they can't have them, but actually when you think about it, they're very balanced, wholesome meals. Okay, they got good protein will keep you full up for longer. They got carbs in, which might mean that you don't feel like you're missing out. When you don't feel like you're missing out, how do you then feel after that? Right, you then might be less likely to snack pick.
Yeah,
feel like you've done good. And they also contain lots of vegetables in as well. So it's very easy to bulk out bolognese of vegetables. Very easy to bulk out like a fish pie with vegetables. whatever it is, it's easy to get a balanced meal with that. My point is, max, they'll probably be like 600 calories. And when you actually look at it, if you have 2 meals a day like that, plus a breakfast, certain calorie limit, what you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely, that makes sense. Have you still got me connected? Because I think I might be having
now.
a bit of Wi-Fi challenge
now. Are
there.
you
That's
back
what
or am
happened.
I back? Can you
One
hear,
of us, I'm not sure if it's you or me.
I think it might.
That's got the Wi-Fi issues there, and I think while
Go on to
you're
4G.
struggling, am I on 4G? 4G
Yeah.
in the wilds of Wiltshire. Are you having a laugh?
Right.
But
All good. I can hear you again now. It's all good.
Okay, I think you're absolutely right, and it was really interesting. So I had a conversation with one of the ladies this week, and she said, "Oh, my sons are back, so whilst hubby's happy having salads and the such like, I feel like I need to eat more bulkier foods." And it took me back when the two boys were teenagers, and I used to struggle filling them up. Boys just have bottomless pits for stomachs. So we used to have fresh bread with all the meals. We used to cook wholesome food, but used to have fresh bread with the meals. If I'd have known then what I know now, I think I would have changed that. And it went through my mind even last night. So we had halloumi salad last night, and it went through my mind was, I wonder if this is going to be filling enough for Kev, husband. So I added chicken to it, because of course chicken is so filling because it's protein based.
Yeah.
Whereas in days gone by, if the boys had been sat at the table, I'd have gone, let's have some fresh bread with that just to bulk it out a bit. And the calorie differential between having all those extra carbs to having extra protein is so different. And I think that's what people need to educate themselves with, maybe, that filling yourself up, if you have more protein, more fish, more chicken, more eggs, more beans, that's definitely the way to go.
And it doesn't even have to be expensive. Like, so for example, like a carrot and lentil soup, for example, is a great way to get protein in, a bulk out. Like if you've got like some carrots that are going off, we had some the other day and I was going to make this, but annoyingly the carrots were actually just too gone. They were like, literally, they were fine one day. Next day, they were literally like slime. It was put me off it. But it was a bit annoying. But I was going to make it. But anyway, my point is that that's cheap as anything, and it will bulk out. It's filling because you've got a lot of liquid to fill you up. You've got fibre, you've got vegetables. And I talked about gut health this morning in terms of getting vegetables in. But yeah, then you've got like the protein from like lentils and beans and stuff to bulk meals out. Because actually, if you're meeting your physiological needs, aka hitting the protein, hitting your fiber, hitting your vegetables, you'll probably feel more in control of your snacking from a physiological point of view. So my point with that is try and just have wholesome meals and actually enjoy the time with your family if you are together, and just control the meals you can control, because you might regret it if you don't, one, and two, you might get a better handle on your snacking. Because actually, I was speaking to one of the ladies this morning, actually. She said that she's been kind of having more protein with her meals and stuff, and she does feel like more full up, drinking more water almost. And I said to her, there's like a difference in the way I feel sometimes. So it sounds weird, but some of the ladies have said to me before that they're annoyed that they're not hungry. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Yeah, so you almost want to feel hungry, so you can go, I can snack, I can pick something, have a bit of cheese. And she said, so she said, I'm annoyed I'm not, she was laughing when she said it. She said, I'm annoyed I'm not hungry, because now I feel like there's no point eating, but I kind of want to eat. And it's very interesting, because then you can go on to like the psychological side of it, is what are we actually looking at? What do we actually want from this food? Because quite often we're looking for a feeling, or we're then got to go into it in a different aspect of, okay, how am I feeling right now? Not what I feel like, how am I actually feeling? Am I tired? Am I bored? Am I stressed? Then what would actually satisfy you right now? Well, I haven't done reading in a while. I haven't just sat in the, so for example, there's another thing going on at the moment with a few of the ladies. They feel guilty if they're sat reading inside, but if in the garden, it's okay.
Ah, that's
Funny, isn't
awesome.
it? Like our
That is,
so it's often our thoughts about the thing that make it into something. Does that
yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I can only liken that to, you know, when I travel to Wales for work, obviously not at the moment, you know, I normally have an omelette for lunch, and it just fills you up so much. Prior to getting to that habit, sort of 7 o'clock in the evening, trolley used to come down, and I used to be like, I'll have a Kit Kat or something with my cup of tea. Well, when after I'd started having the omelettes, tea trolley would come down, and it'd be like, oh, well, I'm too full for a Kit Kat. But I want a Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Why am I wanting a Kit Kat? And often it would be either because I was tired or I'd had a really stressful day. And it was just really interesting thinking about that psychology behind why you eat.
Yeah. No, it is. Then that's what it's about, really. The more aware you can get. And actually, if you're struggling with snacking right now, I think a really good thing to do is, because there's probably so many foods around, especially potentially of Easter as well, although we don't actually have that much. We've got some chocolate in the cupboard, but compared to a normal Easter, family would have dropped round loads of just pause then. So when I was a kid, I used to literally have like, no lie, probably about 30 odd Easter eggs. There's 30, 40 Easter eggs. Laying, because the family's so big, everyone would buy like Easter eggs for everyone. So it used to be crazy then. But if you are struggling, if you've got loads of foods around, a good thing to do is just to wake up in the morning and write this sentence down, and really write it down to get some certainty. So I will have insert snack here. Just pick whatever you want. Give yourself permission to have what you want at this time. Done. So that you have like some structure in your day, rather than go, be good, don't eat crap, don't eat rubbish. Then, you know, it gets to it and then you go, oh, I've eaten it. So almost plan with perfection, but then execute without it. What I mean by that is, if you will have days where you eat more, that's fine. Be aware of it, be aware why it happened, and just keep going again. Because actually, the only way you'll fail is if you just really beat yourself up to the extent you end up just stopping and going, oh, sod it. Which really doesn't make sense. But that's when I'm so big on putting stuff down on paper. Because when you get out of your head and ask the question, a very simple question to ask is, what would you say to a friend in this situation right now? Because then you can you then go into kind of a logical state, because you're giving advice. So imagine you're giving advice to a friend, and then all of a sudden you start to listen to your own advice. And you're like, yeah, actually, I am over exaggerating here. I just had 2 chocolate bars. Yeah. Sometimes just ask the question, why didn't you have 3? Well, I just thought, you know. Because that's a good thing to do as well. I ask that question quite a lot. If someone says, yeah, I was rubbish yesterday, I had like 4 biscuits. Why didn't you have 5? Well, I just kind of clocked to myself. Okay, cool. A year ago, I'd have had 7, you know? Yeah.
Interesting as well, the language we use. So just before I came online, I got invited for pancake brunch, which was really nice. We seem to eat pancakes like they're going out of fashion in our house.
Me too.
And Matt's son, Matt, obviously there's lots of Matt in my life. Son Matt had Nutella on the side, and we all got into a debate about Nutella, and I was like, oh, Nutella, don't normally have that because it's not good for you. And then we got into that debate of, what does that mean? It's not good for you. Because we often say, oh, that's rubbish, or we label food, don't we? That's not good for you.
Yeah.
Where actually, are we referring to the nutritional content, or do we just think, well, that's bad because I shouldn't be eating that? And then what drives that thinking of, I shouldn't be eating that? And it's about the choices that you make rather than that's good, that's bad. Because quite often I observe with the ladies, they'll say, oh, I was really bad, I had this. Yeah. But it's like, what is bad? Why is that bad? And then they beat themselves up. And then it's really easy for people to fall into that mindset of, oh, that was really rubbish, I was really rubbish, oh, I might as well just eat 10 more of those biscuits or whatever it is that they've eaten. Yeah. So the language we use and label food is really interesting.
It is, yeah. And I mean, everyone knows what someone means when they say this food is good and bad. And I think that's okay to use that language for most people. However, if you've been around the dieting culture a lot of your life, then that's when it becomes a little bit dangerous in terms of like how our emotions relate to certain food. Because no food in itself, what we're really referring to is the nutrient density of a food. So everyone knows if I say, right, a donut's good for you, people go, no, but we still eat them and stuff. But what we're referring to is, are they nutritious? Basically, we know that certain foods, vegetables, etc., fruits are more nutritious than, say, processed foods, packet foods, chocolate, biscuits. That's what we're really referring to. However, when you actually look at food individually, are we calling it bad in terms of health, or are we referring it to, oh, I'm going to put on loads of weight now, or I'm really unhealthy? Because actually, when we look at inflammation and like fat loss and things like that, the main thing that will determine that is essentially losing excess body fat, and your calorie intake will help you do that. So calories in, calories out. And like the professor who did the study on the Twinkie diet, which is where he essentially stuck to 1,400 calories a day, ate nothing but crap, supplemented with protein shakes and a multivitamin. So he made sure he got his protein, made sure he got his vitamins from a multivitamin tablet. He lost weight, he lost body fat, his cholesterol went down, his blood pressure went down. So that's just proof that you can eat rubbish and do it. However, I wouldn't recommend this for many reasons. You'll probably be starving. You'll miss out on kind of the nutritious foods and probably maybe energy from not getting certain foods. Over long term, it's probably unsustainable, like in terms of your mood, etc. So is it optimal? No, and they'd admit that, but it's just proof that if you are having a little bit of rubbish, it's not going to be the end of the world. And these research, studies like that go to extremes to prove a point. So although he just ate crap and still lost weight, etc., all that stuff, they're not saying do that. They're just saying, if you have some, it's just proof that you can still get results as long as you snap out of that all or nothing mindset and just get straight back on track.
Yeah. And I think that's where tracking your food is really key.
Yeah.
Because I think it's easy to fall into that good mindset, but actually losing weight is about that calorie deficit. But how do you know you've got a calorie deficit unless you're tracking your food?
Yeah.
And actually focus on tracking your food and then making choices accordingly. You do move away from thinking that's good, that's bad. It becomes more like, okay, I'm making a choice to have a glass of wine, or I'm making a choice to have a bar of chocolate, but I'm still within my calorie deficit. So actually that's okay. And I think it's only when you're really focusing or drilling down into that nutritional side of it that it then becomes even more important to look at what you're eating. Maybe if you're training for something, and you want to make sure you're really right.
Because I could have a banana and an apple, and that would be maybe 250 calories. I could have a flake, those chocolate flakes. It's like 99 calories or something. My mindset could be completely different depending on what I've had, right?
Yeah.
From an apple and a banana to that. And it's important to just, when you recognize and see that, you go, oh, actually, I've had this chocolate bar or whatever, and actually I can have it and still fit it in and not, because normally it's our thoughts about the thing that cause the next action, which then makes it into a big thing. Yeah. Right. So, for example, let's say you've got 5 problems. Now you eat a biscuit, and now you eat 10 biscuits. You've now got 6.
Yeah.
My point is that we create another problem because our thoughts are that was a problem, but actually it wasn't. We just created it just from nothing, and now we've actually created a problem. We now have a real problem that wasn't real a minute ago.
And I think it's that thing. Where your focus goes. It's where your focus goes. One of the things about the whole food environment and diets and ladies that want to lose weight, or even gentlemen that want to lose weight, is it's always about the numbers and the scales. And everybody seems to focus on numbers, where actually, I had a really, really positive conversation with somebody this week, actually, in the group. And she said, I'm not losing weight, but I'm not going to get hung up on that. She said, because actually I can see my body's becoming more toned. Her husband had mentioned, wow, you're looking really cool. Their clothes were fitting and hanging much better. And I just think it's where you focus on these things. I think you talk about where your focus goes, your energy flows. I actually said it. I don't normally say that right.
Yeah, you could probably turn it the other way and it would still make sense.
Where your energy flows.
If you said energy goes where attention goes, that would make sense too.
Don't confuse me. I have enough trouble with these sayings.
Perfect.
I'm the person that the stick up the wrong way, not the wrong end of the stick.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. Perfect. I think we've covered that well, actually. Yeah. Anything else you kind of want to add to that in terms of routine, structure, meals, snacking? Yeah.
I just think it's really important that in this new normality that we all find ourselves in, that you have some sort of structure, some sort of routine. I think even over the Easter bank holiday, I had an interesting conversation with my team. We had a video call on Thursday, and I said to them all, I was really excited about Easter bank holiday weekend because I've been flat out with work, as they have. And I said to them all, what are you doing this weekend? And there were these like 4 glum faces on the video screen. And they were like, well, I'm staying in the house, of course. And I was like, really? Really? What about treasure hunts? What about picnics in the garden? Do things.
Yeah, we've got a tent up in the garden.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think, just because we're in this new normality where, you don't get outside the gate if you're self-isolating, or if you do get out, you're only going to the shops or for your hour's walk. I think you still need to schedule your day, structure your day, because otherwise, we were having this conversation in the house this morning. People are going to get to the end of the 3 months, 21 days, 6 months, whatever this is going to be, and go, oh, do you know what? I really wished I'd made more use of that time. You never, hopefully, get this time again. Time to do all those things that you go, oh, I haven't got enough time to read all those books. I haven't got enough time to paint the ceiling or clear out the cupboard or
clean my office.
Or clear your office, yes. You did commit, remember, Mr. Fruci, that if we did have lockdown, clear your office.
I will clean it. It's on my list.
So I think that's the key thing.
Here's the key thing about priorities. It's there.
Yeah, you need to schedule that in. I think you need to schedule that in. So come on then, what are you doing over the weekend? So it's Easter, are you doing any exercise?
I am doing exercise.
Are you thinking of doing some aerobics or doing a bit of bunny dancing and doing a bit of hip hop? I mean, what's your focus on?
I'll probably do a bit of all of that, actually. If you, I will do a little bit of all of that. Hip hop, exercise.
Now.
So
you're going to get me over-excited with this exaggeration. Don't
make me get my owl jokes out.
Oh my God, you've got a teacup with owls on. I don't believe it. That's hilarious.
That goes well with our workout this morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think with the structure routine, it's important to start small with this. So obviously you could go away from this and go, I'm going to have a routine. You might feel really motivated, but then not know where to start. So the key thing, if you are thinking that, is to pick one thing a day. And in terms of one thing, you can get more specific with this. If you think food is the biggest thing you need to tackle at the moment, go with that. So it's all about finding your biggest domino. So you've got food, fitness, and then kind of self-care is how we do it. So food, fitness, focus is the 3 things we track. So if you're saying food is the biggest thing you're struggling with, and when you get your food right, everything else comes into place, I would look at your snacking maybe or whatever and just say, today, like I said, I will have, I don't know, quarter of a Easter egg or half an Easter egg at this time, done. That's going to be my snack. Or I will have 2 gin and tonics at that time, whatever, if you've got tonic. And then, yeah, we haven't got any. So just gin, straight. So, but getting clear on that priority straight away with or it might be, and this is something I found, this is definitely more appealing to me and most of the ladies I've spoke to in the last 2 weeks. If they get their fitness right, so what I mean by that, if they do some exercise in the day everything else kind of falls into place. That's their domino, their key domino that knocks the other down. So they exercise, and as a result of that, they feel better. They maybe get that dopamine hit. They get that feel-good endorphin. Because actually, no matter how you feel right now, moving is probably the fastest way to kind of just snap out of it, feel a bit better about yourself. Then they maybe eat better. Then they just have a better outlook, feel better, and can handle stress a bit better as well. So it's about finding your key domino. So it might be that today you say, I'm going to do that one snack, or today I will do half an hour walk, or some whatever, like a home workout, pick anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, definitely focus on one thing and then build from there. It's a bit like building a wall. You don't put all the bricks on at once. You put one brick at a time.
Yeah.
So cool.
Marlborough wasn't built in a day.
No. So you have a good Easter.
Yeah, you too. And yeah, what's your workout tonight?
What's my workout?
It's movie tonight. It's movie night.
Tonight. It's 7 p.m. Quick plug for the workout tonight. 7 p.m. in the shift group is a movie night workout. So make sure you come with your movie knowledge. We'll be working out.
If anyone is actually listening and they want to actually just come and try a session, a live workout, because there's loads of workouts obviously at the moment, right? Everywhere. And it can be quite, it's quite overwhelming actually. You don't really know which one's which. Recorded workouts are fine, but they don't have the same kind of interaction as a live workout. I've had that feedback from the ladies. In fact, I'm going to keep live workouts in even when we're back to normal and we've got sessions, because people are finding the flexibility quite nice. I think at least one a day anyway, not 4 a day. So but in the time being, if anyone wants to try one of our live workouts, just let us know, and we'll get you sorted and you can just give one a try. Whether it's the movie night, quiz night, play your cards right, whatever. It's a good laugh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Absolutely. So come on, here's a question for you. Let's test your movie knowledge before we go.
Oh, go on. I'm rubbish with movies. I don't watch films. That's the problem.
Who was the fourth James Bond? You must know what this is. Who was the fourth James Bond actor?
This is bad. Is it bad that I only know 2 James Bonds?
Oh,
Pierce Brosnan. Am I right? Pierce Brosnan.
Very good.
Oh, so I only know him and Daniel Craig. I wouldn't be able to tell you any other James Bonds.
Wow. Good job you're not in the work tonight then.
Yeah, I know two James Bonds. If you talk about action movies, stuff like that, I know absolutely nothing.
I've 2 sons. All of them are action movies in our house.
Yeah. This is me in an action movie. Yeah, let's watch a movie. I eat a handful of popcorn, then I'm like, I just want to see. Yeah. Anyway, all good, perfect. Hope you all found this helpful. Any questions, let me know. And yeah, if you want to try a workout, give it a try. Let me know, and yeah, we'll go from there.
All right,
perfect.
Cool.
Have an excellent day.
Yeah, don't get over excited.
Oh, I won't. Don't worry. Although I will be posting some dad yokes later on. Right, take care.
Okay, see you later.
See you later.
Bye. Bye.